Yo, guys, what's up? It's Inferno here. Today it's another talk video, pretty much my impression slash review for Zenless Zone Zero, the closed beta 2 that it just came out. It's still going on at the moment. So I'll be mainly going over a bit of the story, the gameplay, what I liked, what can be improved, and my final thoughts. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, the story for Zenless Zone Zero puts us into the shoes of proxies named Wise and Bell, who help a variety of people with their commissions that they come with. Like MiHoYo's recent games, you can choose between the two of them. What's different in this one is how much they talk. So, the main characters in this game talk a lot more than you would expect from Genshin and Star Rail, like combined already. And I was surprised, and I was like, quite happy about it as well, because too many of these games, the MCs are just like straight up silent, talk for like 1-2 minutes here and there, that's about it. Or either they have someone else talking for them, aka Paimon and Genshin, which I mean is okay to an extent, but after a while you kind of do want your main character to talk quite a bit. So in this game, the fact that they actually get to talk quite a bit is quite surprising and quite pleasant, honestly. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think a fair amount of people will actually enjoy having these main characters voiced. You know, these two main characters have slight different personalities as well, so depending on who you choose, some stuff can be slightly different as well. So it's good. It might have an incentive for people to actually go make another account and play as the other gender, which honestly, for me, I probably would not do, because that's just a lot of work. But for some people, yeah, or either that or they'll just search up on YouTube. But the fact that the main characters are voiced a lot and they actually have their own names as well, it's quite good, honestly, man. I think MiHoYo's gone in the right step with like having the main characters actually voiced. Hopefully, that can transpire in other games, but that remains to be seen. Now, for the content in the game, so currently in the beta, the story stops 2 missions into chapter 3, which is honestly a decent sized content to give to the players. I wasn't expecting it to go that far, which is honestly quite surprising, but yeah, it gives you a fair amount to gauge the story, see if you like it or not and everything. I actually didn't mind the story. It was definitely slow at the start, but it definitely did start to pick up like near the end. And when the beta did end on that little cliffhanger, I was like, oh, of course they'll just end it there, you know, which is unfortunate. But who knows, maybe in the third beta, which seems to always be, they always have a third one, there might be more. If not, we're just gonna have to wait until the full game, where they'll probably actually give us the whole third full chapter. Now, this goes for the same for side content in the game. Side content in this game is honestly pretty decent for the most part. There are a few of them where they can drag out quite a bit, but there's a decent sized chunk of side content to do, which also helps with your level in this game. So in this level, it's called Internaut, which is basically like your adventure rank or trailblaze level, if you want to like go by reference, pretty much. It does seem pretty easy to somewhat level up your level in this game, but obviously you're kind of gated by your stamina, which I'll talk about later on. But yeah, in terms of content, there is a fair amount to do. You have your main missions, you have your side missions, you have your rally commissions, you also have the Infinite Abyss, which you can go down to, I think, what, floor 100 or something like that. I do not know how long. I'll probably dabble into that soon before the beta ends. You also have the Hollow Zero, which is basically like the roguelike mode, where essentially you're just going through different paths, obtaining different items, some of them which are actually tied to the side commissions in the game, which is a bit random, because you trying to find a specific item there, yeah, good luck on that one. But yeah, the Hollow Zero is there, you get that, you can find different items, you also get like different buffs and stuff as well, so it's similar to like the Abyss in Genshin to an extent, where you go through different floors and you can gain another buff or something. It's the same here. How it works though is that if you do get a certain amount of cards from the same like faction, I would say, it does actually fuse into a different card, so you'd gain a 5th card and you'll still retain all the other cards as well, which is quite honestly a nice feature, honestly. Now, difficulty wise for these content is probably like, for me, honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably like at a 2 at the moment, because it is stupidly easy for me. I've not died in the game. I've had slight close encounters in the Hollow Zero, mainly because the pressure, I got it to rank 5 because I was just being a greedy bastard pretty much. So yeah, my HP kept it going down, but I could kill the enemy before it depleted my HP. But in terms of just general combat, yeah, you're not going to struggle too much with this if you play like a fair amount of action games. Now, if you're playing on mobile and stuff, you might have a slight difficulty here and there. I don't know how controls are working on it. Unless you're playing like with a controller, then it's just like negates everything. But if you do like touchscreen, yeah, you might have a bit of an issue here and there. But your average player, honestly, I think can get through this game, no questions asked. Honestly, it's just the TVs and stuff that you have to keep going through, which is the long part. So I don't know how people's like retention for that can actually go for. You know, for me, I think it's not too bad, but yeah, I can easily get bored on that. But I'll talk on that later on. Now, the beta also gives us 3 agent missions. So the way these work are similar to like your story missions in Genshin and Sodara. So these ones, you don't have to like use. It's not wrong to say you don't have to use anything. Basically, you don't have to use like something to unlock them. They just come when they're there. And then obviously you accept it through like the DMs and stuff, or basically your phone or whatever. And then you go in the agent mission. Now you can only do one at a time, which is for obvious reasons pretty much. So you can't really accept another one until you've actually finished that mission, or that particular mission anyway. Which is good because you kind of don't want it to jumble all around the place. But yeah, there are 3 in the game. They are Soldier 11, which we've seen from the previous beta, the tuning test. And then we got 2 new ones, which are from Grace, who's also a new character in this beta, and Nekomata as well. The length for these are about 2 hours, give or take. You could probably finish it a bit quicker. If you're a cutscene skipper, you'll probably finish it in less than an hour, honestly. But yeah, it does give us a bit of an insight into their lives, pretty much, their stories and everything. Basically, after you've met them through the main story, these will unlock later on down the line as well. Yeah, it gives us a bit of an insight to like who they are and everything, which is quite nice, honestly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the story part of the segment. Overall, I would say the story does start off quite slow, but by the end of the beta, as I said earlier, it does pick up quite a bit and it does get a lot more interesting. You kind of start to question like why certain stuff are happening as well. Literally from like probably chapter 2 onwards, or the end of chapter 2, you're like, okay, something's definitely going wrong at some point in this story. How Mihoyo will handle it, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, in terms of story, I do have a bit of hope for it. I know it won't be everyone's cup of tea, but yeah, it's early days anyway, so we'll just have to wait and see. Now, the gameplay for Zenless is slightly different from what most people expect. A lot of the times you'll be stuck on TVs, and during like actual fights that you get to do, you'll probably be in there for like 5 minutes or less at most, unless it's a boss fight where you'll probably be there for like 10 minutes maximum pretty much, and that's like excluding the cutscenes and everything as well. So already with a system like this, I feel people will probably be like put off from the game slightly, but for me, I didn't mind it as much. It's just that I feel like the TV section should really be like cut down considerably. I would say the ratio is like 80% TV and like 20% gameplay, which is quite bad, honestly. But it's still manageable. I think you just have to pace yourself in this game. You can't just go all in because you're just gonna burn out very quickly, I feel. As for the actual combat in the game, I would say that's pretty much where the fun actually begins. I thoroughly enjoyed the combat that I've played so far in this game, and that is stemming from the first beta as well, and they have improved it from the last beta as well. All characters in the last beta still pretty much play the same, and the new characters that are introduced into this beta, who are Grace, Rena, and Arena as well. I think the 3 new ladies. They play quite fun as well. For the most part, it's a shame that you can't actually get all of them to just play for the sake of it, unless you get stupidly lucky in the gacha system, which I kind of did for the most part, which is surprising because I'll be honest, my gacha luck is like terrible half the time. But yeah, I'm sure people probably have worse than that. But yeah, apart from that, it plays very well, plays very smooth for, you know, an action gacha game, I should say, really, which is probably what you would want when you're doing a game like this, honestly, because if it's not smooth, then God help you, man. But yeah, dodging is still easy for the most part in the game. Like you can, there's a signal to say, you know, when to dodge. When an enemy's move flashes orange on the screen, that's your signal to dodge. But now there's also a new mechanic, which is the perfect assist. Sorry. What this allows you to do is to switch to a different character and then they launch an attack if timed correctly. But you'll be limited to 3 charges pretty much for this before it needs to recharge for a bit. And I don't blame them for limiting it to 3 because, let's be honest, if you had infinite uses for it, the game would just become like stupidly easy to the point where it's just like, why, you know? But yeah, the perfect assist is quite nice, honestly. Yeah, I didn't find too much issues with it. I did say some moves did actually whiff sometimes, which is quite concerning. You know, like your E abilities to certain characters, they can actually whiff, and then that's your EX charge wasted pretty much, which, you know, I guess if it's not connected, I would personally say not to use the EX charge, but I guess they want you to be somewhat consistent with attacking and basically not make the game like baby mode pretty much. So there's got to be some sort of punishment for like whiffing some of your moves and everything. But yeah, perfect assist, probably like one of the best additions in the game that they've added in so far. I'm kind of curious to see what else they'll add in. But yeah, overall, the gameplay is where I would say most people would either continue play the game or drop it because the amount of time you have to be spending through TVs, as for not being in actual combat as well. It's a weird one, honestly, and I do not know, like it's already hard, and I won't even say it's hard enough now because I'm playing Genshin and Star Rail, and to be honest, in those games I'm pretty much sorted out for the most part, especially in Genshin. Obviously adding this one, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue as well. It's just going through the TVs. I remember one mission, it took me about 35 minutes to do, and I'll probably say like 20 minutes of it was me just going through the TVs and like listening to the dialogue and everything as well. And I said, bros, this TV stuff actually needs to cut down a bit because my God, you can basically just go autopilot mode at some point because you're just so bored, which happened to me at one point. But yeah, a lot of people have complained about the TV stuff, and they'll probably continue to complain about it unless MiHoYo actually like drastically changes how much time you're in the TVs. Now, will they do it? I would like to think so, but honestly speaking, I don't think they'll probably change it too much. I think they're actually set on this whole TV stuff, but that remains to be seen, I guess. Now, we did kind of just complain about the whole TV and stuff, but there are a few stuff that they've actually done right in the game, I would say, personally for me, or basically what I liked in the beta so far. And one of them is one of the new features that they've added in, which is the VR training room. In this room is basically, as stated, a training room where you can test out the characters that you have currently, and just basically pummel on a dummy for forever pretty much, which is honestly good for when it comes to an action game, because it gives you a fair amount of stuff to test out. It can be compositions, it can be, does this new character deal enough damage with this current set I have and everything, you know, or just testing your reflexes against certain enemies that you feel that you need more training on, I would say, in a sense. Obviously, this is good for people that are not too into action games as well, to basically improve their skills in the game, which will make it easier for them in the end. Now, obviously, when it comes to, say, switching characters and stuff in this training mode, is very seamless pretty much. You just open the menu, you'll switch characters, select who you want, confirm the select, and you're just straight back into the training straight away, because we all know certain games you actually have to go back into the menu and do all your other stuff and everything, which is kind of annoying. Now, another point to add for the VR training is the options that are available. So it ranges from you having the ability to select from a different variety of enemies to train against, or BR pretty much. Set the enemy level from level 10 to level 100, which I don't know if you can even get to level 100 in the game, but you know, that's besides the point. If the enemy should be able to attack you or just stand still, or to have infinite health or not, and that goes the same for the stun gauge as well. Now, as for the player in the training room, you can also enable the infinite skill. So basically your EX skill will always be filled and you don't have to continuously attack an enemy to gain it. Unfortunately, your ultimate, you're going to have to continuously attack to gain that as well. Now, hopefully in the next beta or the full game, they actually have an option to say, here's your ultimate, like you can just use it continuously pretty much. I honestly think they probably will add that in. Maybe it might have just been an oversight from them, but I was kind of surprised it wasn't in there, considering that we could use our EX skill with like no problem whatsoever there. But yeah, that is probably one of the main points that I liked for the game, honestly, and it's probably needed as well with the way this game is. Now, another small feature that I did like was the gacha system. So in this one, yeah, I know people are gonna be, oh, gacha system, blah blah blah. In this one, essentially, it also works like pretty much every other gacha system. You know, you gotta reach a certain pity before you reach your S rank and all that stuff, yada yada. But in this one, you actually get to see on the screen your pity. So in most games, your pity is somewhat there, or you can see like your previous pulls, but sometimes it does take a while to update, and that's probably the same in this game as well, just to see who you've gotten and everything or whatever. But when it comes to say your actual pity, it actually tells you, oh, you're this amount away from 4-star, this amount away from a 5-star or an S rank, they call it in this game, which is quite nice, because then it kind of gets to show you, oh, you know, how close am I to actually getting it? Should I continue to use my films or your gacha currency in the game, or should I go and top up and continue pulling, which I wouldn't really advise in this game, honestly, but that's besides the point. But yeah, the actual fact that you can see how much you're away from a 4-star or 5-star in this game is quite nice, and the fact it updates in real time as well is probably another bonus in my books as well. Now, what can be improved in the game is very questionable for most people, but for me, I think the main issue in the game, which I believe I would say 90% of the players that are in the beta currently would agree on, I would say, is the stamina system. Now, it's slightly different from your Genshin and Star Rail pretty much. It kind of works similar to like certain other games, like I'd say recently the Final Fantasy gacha game, Ever Crisis. So essentially, for you to do story, side commissions, rally commissions and everything, VR training to like obtain EXP for your characters, or basically like the ascension materials that is needed for them to level up, you got to spend stamina for it. Now, when it comes to, say, you know, the VR thing for your ascension materials and stuff, yeah, everyone can understand that, right? That's a no-brainer. But to use stamina for your story and side commissions and rally commissions, I do not agree with, mainly because you're just going to be time gated at some point, especially if you're trying to rush through the story and everything to be like the first one to, say, go end game and everything, which a fair amount of people do. Obviously, I don't really do that because I was like, what's the point of rushing these days? But yeah, it's annoying because sometimes I had to use like an energy refill or something to just progress the story, even do some side missions to like gain a bit of XP to level up to continue the story. I hopefully think Mihoyo would reconsider this, especially for like story missions, because I do not believe that you should be using stamina for story. Like that is a big oof right there, man, for my books. I don't know what they were thinking about it. Maybe because you're just not exploring and everything. compared to the other games, but still, like, the amount of stamina you have to use as well, I think it's like 30 or 20 for story, which is okay, not too bad, but other ones come up to like 40, 50. I think the VR one you can do like 100 or something like that. So yeah, you can run out of stamina very quickly. The max stamina you have right now is 180, which is like 20 more from the previous beta. But yeah, that is probably one of my main issues in the game, and that is a very big issue. Hopefully they reconsider it. I think they will, because it's a stupid idea. But if they don't and it's in the full game, I genuinely think people are going to be pissed off, you know, because you're just going to have to burn a lot more. I know for the whales and stuff, it don't really matter for them because they just do refills 24/7 anyway. But yeah, you might be playing, you might really do something. It's like, oh, I need to farm, but also need to do story. I also need to do side content to level up my adventure rank or whatever. And it's just going to be a thing of like, what do you prioritize first, you know? Because at a certain point in the game, you do need to like actually start gearing your characters a bit more, and that obviously takes a bit of stamina as well when you're doing like rally commissions to get certain items, pretty much. Well, not the certain items that you can use at the music shop to like gain artifacts and stuff and everything. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a weird one. I don't know really what else to say for that, really. I just hope that they actually change it in like the next beta or full game, pretty much. With all that said, basically going to round up my final thoughts on the beta so far. So currently this is like non-script and everything compared to everything else. So a bit more rambling here and there. But yeah, I did enjoy myself playing the beta for the past few days. Obviously, I'm still going to continue to play here and there. Not as much because I've pretty much done all the side content in the game except for like 2 missions pretty much. Story is obviously done. Rally commissions are almost done. Hollow Zero, I've explored what I can at the moment. But yeah, I've pretty much done the majority of the game. It's pretty fun so far. You also have the mini games as well. So there are 2 mini games that are currently in the game, which is, one is Snake, which I'm sure a lot of people probably played way back in the day. It can get competitive because there's an actual leaderboard and everything, so you can actually see, you know, if you're first one up there and everything, you can compete with your friends, or just a global leaderboard and everything. Then you also have another one which is like, it's hard to explain. I wouldn't even call it like Hollow Knight, but it kind of looks like it to an extent. But essentially you're just going down, trying to not get squashed or hit by other stuff, pretty much. Mini games were pretty fun. I think there'll probably be more added on later on. But yeah, for the main game itself, I've enjoyed it. The voice acting has been pretty good so far. The fact that the main characters are voiced a lot in this, it's like they're actually in the story compared to other games where like everyone else is talking to M's main character just like, do I get to talk now or not? So yeah, that's pretty nice from them. The TV system, well, I think it needs to be cut down a lot more, because I think a fair amount of people probably just get annoyed from it and quit the game eventually. Because mainly combat, you're not going to be in it for that long, as I said, unless you're like in a boss fight or something. Or if you're doing the roguelike mode, you kind of be fighting a lot more here and there, but again, you're still in the TVs as well for like the majority of the time. So yeah, hopefully that changes. The stamina system probably needs a rework big time. I do not know why they think using it for story was a good idea, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's definitely a different take on what they would usually do. I know a lot of people probably been looking forward to this, mainly because it's like, what, a 16+ game, so like a teen+ game for like Americans and everything. Which I guess allows them to have a bit more freedom with like character designs and stuff, although I know some people recently have like complained because certain animations have changed of a certain character, which I guess is, I mean, to be honest, for me, it's really not the end of the world. But I know for some people, they're like, oh, why is it changed now? You know, if they change that, I'm not going to play anymore because I was just looking forward to that. I was like, bro, if you're really looking forward to like one girl's animations in the certain area, then I genuinely think you weren't really interested in the game, man. Well, yeah, I think the game can somewhat do well. We will just have to wait and see. Now, would it be like Genshin levels of where everyone knows of it? Definitely not. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting take. I know for me, I'll probably play it just for the sake of it. I won't take it too serious, but yeah, I'll probably do play like here and there. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. I think it does have a future. I just don't think it'll be like a super big future, but that remains to be seen. I said what I said about the stamina and everything. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, currently right now it's in a good state. It's not like it's struggling or anything. Now obviously for people's expectations, that's obviously subjective pretty much, but yeah, for me I would say it's in a good state. I'm actually looking forward to the story a bit more. But yeah, that's it from me. I kind of hope you enjoyed this little impressions video, rambling and everything. If you've got any questions about the game, you know, obviously let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.